Imagine, you're walking through the streets of a lonely city. The sky above is pitch black. Your stomach is roaring like the thunder above, and there's no one around to help you. You decide to run to the nearest homeless shelter, rain soaking your only clothes and filling your worn out shoes that you've had for years. You stop in your tracks and your heart sinks. There's a line of people trailing down the sidewalk from the homeless shelter. There goes your chance at getting dry shelter and a warm meal. You head back to your usual gloomy, cold alley, the closest thing you have to a home. This is the reality that many people face every single day. There are hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that have to live on the streets, not knowing where their next meal will come from, or even if it'll come at all. Obviously, everybody understands that homelessness is widespread, but very few people truly understand the scale of it. In the United States alone, the amount of families living under the poverty line is fluctuating between 9.3% to 14.3% throughout the entire year of 2021. While this may not seem like a lot of people, that's still nearly 1 out of every 10 Americans, possibly more, living in poverty at any given moment. And the fluctuations of the percentage shows the uncertainty these families face 24/7. The homeless and the impoverished population consist of many different types of people, such as veterans, single parents, and much more. For these people, finding a place to sleep, let alone a place to live, is a constant day-to-day struggle, and the cities and governments that these people live within aren't necessarily helping. Many people believe that the government is doing all that it can to help the people in poverty, but this is just not true. If you look at any big city and pay attention, you'll see countless examples of hostile architecture, which is where architecture is built to decrease a certain behavior. Now obviously, this isn't always a terrible thing, but when you realize that this architecture is mainly for homeless people, you start to understand how truly heinous these design choices are. Some of these examples are especially egregious. For example, there are sometimes bars in between benches for no other reason than to prevent homeless people from sleeping with what little comfort they can afford. Many people may believe that our country can't afford to get homeless people off the streets. However, the country Finland has proved that completely wrong. Ever since the 1980s, the Finnish government has been making efforts to eradicate homelessness, and they've done a spectacular job. This is mainly due to the housing first concept that was introduced in 2008, which has dropped the number of homeless people significantly in the country. Finland shows that governments don't need to be spending thousands of dollars on trying to reduce homelessness by battling against the impoverished, but that they need to be spending the money on trying to help them out of their situations. Though many people will say that the government is trying to help these people, there are only roughly 11,118 homeless shelters in the United States, which may seem like a lot, but if you understand that even at its lowest, the amount of homeless people in the country is roughly 30 million people, it really makes that number look pathetic. It's quite obvious that our country and government isn't doing enough for the homeless population. They need to completely shift efforts into helping, not harming. It would also help not just the homeless, but American society as well. It would make everyone happier not having this huge humanitarian problem looming over their heads, and also help economies by supplying more workers. You leave your alley to try to go back to the homeless shelter. It's still full outside, but there's a man handing out flyers to your fellow homeless pews. You walk up to him and take one. It reads, "Happiness is homes." At first you're annoyed at being reminded of what you lack, but you read on. "And we realize this and want to help. We are launching a new government-funded project to give you back your freedom." Eventually, you get your meeting and are set up with a house of your very own. With this, you're able to get a steady job and kickstart a new life. On your way to work every day, you walk past that alley that you called home, and it serves as a reminder of the life that you once lived.